Why do I make these videos? I make them because what I teach, I 100% believe is the truth concerning the book of Revelation and the Bible as a whole. I can't get people to see what they do not see, that they do not grasp the spiritual uncovering of what's happening in the revelation of Jesus Christ. Think about what the opening line says. The revelation of Jesus Christ. It is that. It is not about an antichrist. It is not about the end of the world as people are thinking in the physical. This is about what the old prophets taught concerning Jesus, what the old covenant was and what the new covenant is. Look at Mystery Babylon and how that represents apostate Jerusalem that killed their own prophets. That when you look at that woman, I want you to read Ezekiel 16 and do a comparison of what it says. Read the whole chapter of Ezekiel 16 about Jerusalem and about how God entered into a marriage covenant with her and adorned her with all of that purple, scarlet, gold, fine linen, the things that were in the tabernacle, the temple of the Old Testament, and how you see that harlot adorned with the same things. Notice she has the blood of the prophets and saints. Who killed the prophets? Jerusalem, Jerusalem, thou that killeth the prophets. And look at her harlotry, her whoredom, her adultery by worshiping other gods. You can read that all through the Old Testament, and you also can read the second half of Ezekiel 16, which talks nothing but her fornication. The Bible interprets the Bible. When you want to know what Revelation is about, use other scriptures. Get away from CNN, get away from Time Magazine, get away from current events, and start to use the Bible to interpret the book of Revelation. When you do that, you will start to see all of the spiritual accomplishments that Jesus has done. Many of the things, all of the things that were prophesied in the Old Testament, you will see fulfilled in Jesus Christ, and you will see a better picture of your Savior in the revelation of Jesus Christ. I teach this because I lived in that fear mindset. I lived in that mindset of current events, of trying to decipher Revelation as a puzzle, and whether it was this thing or this disease, or trying to fit this to the Antichrist and a white horse, and looking at the wars, looking at Israel, looking at diseases. I've seen it all, read it all, have heard it all from many different people. And that's not what the book is about. It is spiritual in nature. And those things that you see uncovered in the book of Revelation were prophesied in the Old Testament. Look at how even it is prophesied on Israel that God would reward her double for her iniquities. And look at how you see that happen in the book of Revelation. Look over at how those things compare to the different plagues that were put on Egypt. And God said that he would bring those same plagues on Israel if they betrayed him and turned to other gods, which they did. But you're going to see the locusts. You're going to see the frogs. You're going to see the water turn to blood. You're going to see the darkness. You're going to see the death of the firstborn, Jesus. All of these things are prophesied, but you have to see the book through the correct perspective. You've got to see it through the revelation of Jesus Christ, seeing the spiritual things and spiritual accomplishments that were foretold. I have a new book out. It's called The Triumph of Christ, Revelation Unsealed. I'm not here, I have to make money to even advertise the book, but I didn't do it to try to make a living. I work for a living. I'm still working. I do that because I am trying to get the truth out. And when you have lived for many years under this fear-based understanding of Revelation, and you hear it over and over propagated through this book series, and you see it on TV, and you hear about the Antichrist, and you know, it's easy to fall into that understanding. But I am here to deliver the truth to you, to alleviate that fear, that is not what the book is about. In fact, it's a beautiful book that uncovers all of those spiritual things that happen as a result of your Savior. Follow, like the video, order the book if you can. I think it will be a blessing to you. God bless.